101.5 FM. Time check for you. It is 11 hours 3. It is time for a rebroadcast of The Glendale Show. Join us this evening at 19 hours 20 for your Monday, October 31 edition.
Tonight, I'm doing a short program because some of you say I talk too much and for too long. So tonight, I want to be short. I want to focus on the silence of our politicians and the loudness of the oil companies, which is very troubling for us as Guyanese. That's my topic. The silence of our politicians and the loudness of the oil companies. That's very worrisome. Before I get to that, I want to let all of you know that from the beginning of this program, I've been telling you people how lots of our children going to school without lunch kits or empty lunch kits. Yeah. It has, some of them who go with lunch kits has little or nothing inside too. Well, yesterday, my reporters confirmed what I've been saying all along. We carried out a 2-month investigation on many of the schools, and what the reporters found out could have only brought tears to their eyes and sadness in my heart. Half or even more than half of the children in the classrooms does not eat lunch because of poverty. Uncle and Auntie, I say even more than half because most of the students are ashamed to tell their story. This sickness, this level of poverty has gone so far and bad that teachers are calling business places, begging for donations, not money. They are begging for bread, cheese, and whatever these companies can contribute to ensure that those children who cannot afford a lunch get something to put in their stomach during the day. My reporters found out that plenty of them go to school without having breakfast, plus the lunch. Just imagine what goes through those children's minds and stomach in those classrooms. Teachers complain how many of them just stand up and faint in the classrooms from hunger. Yes, this is the Guyana we live in today. It is becoming like Africa and Asia overnight. And they say we are the fastest growing economy on earth. Just bear that in mind as I move on to the meat of tonight's program of silence and loudness between government and oil companies. Here we go. 3 months, every 3 months, the oil companies holding webinars, earning calls, or simpler words, meetings and conferences to tell their shareholders and the world about the progress they are making in other people's countries. Other people's countries like Guyana. And the billions they're making and set to make. While we leaders are stone cold silent. Yes, silent. Silent as to the wealth that these people fetching away out of our land. a few days ago. To be exact, I think it's Monday. Hess Corporation, one of the partners of ExxonMobil working out there, was telling their shareholders and the world how if it wasn't for Guyana's oil, they could not put in their bank book 515 million American dollars in the last 3 months. Hear me? They tell their shareholders if it wasn't for Guyana oil, they could not have banked 515 million US dollar in the last 3 months. Just for you to know, them is only a 30% partner in the ExxonMobil deal. Only 30%. What have you heard from our leaders as to what we got for the last 3 months? May I ask? We're the owners of this oil. What have we gotten? Wow. I wish I could have answered that question. Or what have we heard? Every dollar these people make out of our oil, Guyana gets a few cents. Their profits are growing so fast, Uncle. Yes, their profits are growing so fast, Auntie, that Hess Corporation alone done announce 310 million US. 310 million US to be paid out as Christmas to their shareholders. Hear that? Hess workers and shareholders will have a beautiful Christmas. What have you heard from our leaders as to what you are getting for your Christmas? ExxonMobil. That's Hess. Let's go to ExxonMobil. Them has 45% ownership of the Stabroek block. Them also had their 3 months. Their 3 months conference today, Uncle, today. And they announced to the world and to their shareholders how sweet Guyana is. I gotta laugh. Them tell the world that they made more than they ever made in the history of the company, and did that in the last 3 months only. Should I repeat that? They made more than they expected in the last 3 months in the history of their company. Wow. Wow. No wonder Joe Biden said the oil companies made more money than God. The only thing he left out in his speech is that no money is left for the black, brown, and purple people who the oil belonged to. Maybe that slipped his tongue. Yes, he didn't mention nothing about that. ExxonMobil, Uncle and Auntie, told the world and their people today that they made 19.7 billion profit. 19.7 billion in profit. This is after paying out or paid out $3.7 billion in dividends. Yes, that's the kind of money they made. What do you think will be their shareholders' Christmas with the everyday increase of our oil out there? You got an idea? You guys have a clue? Hess done said they're going to pay their shareholders $310 million for Christmas. How much you think Exxon, after making that, going to pay their shareholders? This is not money flowing like the water from the Kaieteur Falls, Auntie. This is money that could float Guyana. Yes. Again, what have you heard from our leaders as to what we got for the last 3 months? Huh? You guys really want to hear? I will play them just now for you to hear what you get in. Let's move to the third partner in the business out there. Sinopec, the Chinese company. That company is owned by the government of China. Them don't have shareholders to report to. So them don't have to announce anything to anybody. But they made almost as much as what Hess Corporation made with their 25%. Yes. What have you heard? Or what are we hearing from our politicians about our share? Exxon talking about 20 billion US dollar in profits and billions to be paid out to their shareholders and workers. What are we hearing from Vice President Jagdeo, Opposition Leader Norton and Ramjatan, and President Ali? This is what you're hearing. I want you to listen carefully. This is what you're hearing from them. People boasting about collecting billions out of Guyana's oil. And this is what you're hearing from them. Play one of the tapes.
I am saying that because of the amount of monies and immediacy, no procrastination, you sign up the agreement, you got a 1%, 100% more, and the royalty...
Oh, come on, don't play with numbers like that. You get 2% instead of 1%.
Precisely.
Instead of 100%.
Yeah,
come on, man. Come on, don't play with numbers.
No, well, just let me...
Don't play with numbers.
No, but that is the approach that you'll have. Well, if you wanted to have a better agreement, I think that you'll have to form a political party, go and win an election.
What a nonsense.
That is not nonsense.
That was Kemraj Ramjatan and Christopher Ram's program a few months ago, telling the man they get 100% increase. Yes, from 1% to 2%. And when Christopher Ram put him to his place and said, come on, don't play with figures. He told him, if you want a better deal from the oil, then form your own political party. It's not only what he said, it's how he said it. Yes, that upsets me. Half of the children in this country going to school without breakfast and lunch. And that is what you're hearing from the national leaders of Guyana when you ask them about this lopsided contract we have. They are ready to attack the person raising the topic. Yeah. I will go high, and I will leave it that way, because I listened to a lady named Michelle Obama. She said, when they go low, go high. And like a gentleman named Mr. John says, Glenn, please don't call anybody clown anymore. So I will go high. Now listen to the other leader, the opposition leader, Aubrey Norton. Play.
Why are you rallying against corruption and cost of living when we can't even improve or we can't get anything better from the one-sided oil contract?
Because even though oil is important, so is corruption, so is high cost of living. It's a simple answer.
Right. And what he's saying is that he believes that the way to address cost of living is by getting more out of that oil.
I have no doubt about that.
when you're going to start talking about renegotiation.
I am not going to speak about renegotiation.
I am not going to speak about renegotiation. My reporter, I asked her, she went to a press conference they had somewhere and music was playing, and I told her to ask him the question. I am not going to play. I am not going to talk about renegotiation. Again, guys, half of our children going to school without breakfast and lunch. And that is the hostile answer you're getting from these leaders when you ask them anything about oil. Especially when it comes to renegotiation of that one-sided contract. Like I said tonight, I am going high. I'm not going to go low. Now, I want you to listen again to our president, what he had to say when he was questioned about oil and oil blocks. Play that for me.
My son have a little car that he brings out all the farmers, even the lady that just now speak. And we need a transportation from 10 Mile to Sharima so that we could get this thing going the proper way. I need to know what is happening with the oil blocks. Could you please share something with me?
And the oil blocks would be auctioned. We're examining the possibility of a national oil company in the auctioning. So you have an opportunity to put in a bid. Right? Because I don't understand how much times you have to explain the same thing. I'm very, very factual. I'm very factual. We have said, and let me be very clear on this issue with oil. If we believe that oil alone will lead to transformation, you gotta be kidding. It is this transformative investment that we make to make all the other sectors competitive that will create the jobs and lead to the transformation that we want. And let us be clear, we have a choice as a country, you know. And I said this to the Summit of the Americas because what I say here, I can stand on any international stage and say, we can leave the oil there, or we can have it for the benefit of Guyana, the region, and the prosperity. Let us decide what we want. Let us decide what we want. All the countries we so proudly stand up sometimes and talk about, find out how they become developed. Find out how they became highly developed and rich countries. But in this country, when we are blessed with natural resources, we have people that see all kinds of jumble in that blessing. They don't see the realization of a better hope, of a better future. They don't contribute to the debate that will lead to how we translate this into that better future. You yourself ask for transportation to bring out the produce. I want to give you the transportation, but you know what will help me do it faster? The revenue. That will help to build the infrastructure that will support agriculture, that will help you with the subsidies you want as your input for agriculture, that will help to build a modern infrastructure, that will create a services industry. You think those 6, 7 hotels that are coming now would have come? Guyana existed a long time before oil. Those 7 hotels that are...
When I listen to these things, as I was listening back to this video, I was pinching my finger and asking myself if I'm a Guyanese.
Same here.
And if that man is my president.
Yep.
Today, yesterday, and the day before, if you guys have access to the international news, to Reuters or Bloomberg, you will hear and you will see that all these news agencies reporting on the money the oil companies them making, They are becoming billionaires and trillionaires off our oil. And you listen to that president. This is your president. Going into 2 years and never hold a press conference to tell us anything on our oil, our gold, our diamond, our bauxite, our manganese, or anything. Come on. All you guys heard. The lady asked him to tell her something about our oil blocks. And you listened to his reaction. You could have heard in his voice, man, you believe somebody committed a terrible, a grave crime against maybe somebody close to him. The way he behaved on that woman. This woman asking a legitimate question about her oil blocks. Not Ali or his family oil block. Her own oil blocks. And that's the answer he gave her. It's like the woman touched something for him. Oh my. You guys are in real trouble in this land. Real trouble in this land. That some days I pray and beg God Almighty to give me the strength to come to work, to put out a newspaper, and to have these radio programs with these tic-tacs. I'm so happy. Thank you again, Lord. And I'm pretty much certain that some of you praying for me too. I have a next video. Could you please play it for me? Play that for me.
After ExxonMobil came here under the PVP, explored under the PVP, found oil under the PVP, at that time we had a chance to renegotiate the contract to bring more benefits to Guyana. Mr. Speaker, that company walked in because they're very smart, big company. They look out for their shareholders. And so what they did, they walk in with their maximum demands. Our incompetent government trudged in there unprepared and stuck us with a contract that would harm us for decades into the future. They sold our patrimony. And when they were caught, Mr. Speaker, with this, what did they do?
That was Bharat Jagdeo in Parliament when he was in opposition. What did he do? He is sitting in a chair today, Uncle. What is he doing to make the changes you just heard him talk about? That he cussed down the coalition about. What is he doing? They just put out a statement, Uncle, 2 days ago, that ordered all government agencies and government corporations not to do anything to hold back the oil companies from going full speed ahead to empty the oil basin. You didn't hear what I said? 2 days ago, the government put out a statement that had to come from Jagdeo, that no government agencies must stop or do anything to hold back or humbug the oil companies them in this country. Yes. That is what is going on in this country. Brother and sisters, Sometimes, like I said, I'm lost for words. How to explain to you people, how to get you people to understand the danger that this country faces and that of our future generation. Do you know that every week when Bharat Jagdev was the opposition leader, he used to hold press conferences? Today, he's the vice president of this country, heading the oil sector, and the nation has to beg them to hold one press conference. We did 3 Sundays ago a front page comment calling for press conferences because the reporters, including myself, the owner of the oil and our gold and diamonds in the back dam, need them to answer questions. So we are begging them now to hold press conferences. This is what Guyana has become. As for the PNC and the AFC, they are in the opposition today, holding press conferences every week, just like what Bharat Jagdev was doing when they were opposition. And if my reporters don't ask them questions on the oil sector, they don't say anything about it. It's like it don't exist for them, uncle and auntie. Today, only today, AFC had won, and my reporter had to ask about oil and the mining contracts before Ramjatan could have said something. Yes, these are the people we have as leaders that you going to stain your fingers for very soon. These are the people that will make your life and that of your children and grandchildren's future great. I listened to a tape today from a doctor in Africa. I would love for you guys to listen to her keenly as to where Africa is and why it is where it is today. Could you please play that tape?
There's a lot of good news coming out of your Africa, and I'm here to share with you that we must be part of that change. We must be part of that vibrancy that is Africa. You see, everybody else around the world is strategizing on how to take advantage of this new Africa whose doors are swinging wide open. The only people who are not strategizing to move into your Africa and claim what is rightfully yours are us, black people. Why can't we be like the rest of the other diaspora in this world? Ask for the voices of Indian diaspora, loud and clear. Chinese diaspora, loud and clear. Irish diaspora, loud and clear. Mexicans, Jews. But when you ask for the voices of the black people, you might as well go to the graveyard. We are missing in action. This is where we are not only failing ourselves, our children, our grandchildren, and generations to come. We have got to change this. We have got to come together just like other ethnic groups and speak with one voice. We must realize that our sheer survival depends on us coming together and speaking with one voice as, like I would like to say, the beautiful, intelligent, sophisticated, highly adaptable, and totally indestructible Mother Africa's children. Madam Zuma, on my last conversation with her, she jokingly said, you know, my sister, the African diaspora are a very diverse population. Unfortunately, children of Africa who don't really get along, who don't understand each other, who don't like each other sometimes. But be it as it may, she did have hope that if we continue to engage each other, if we continue to understand each other, maybe, just maybe, we would see enough reason to come together, put aside our differences, and speak with one voice, one continent, one Africa. So when it's all said and done, our understanding of what is really going on in Africa, what is really making Africa end up where Africa is where we need to begin. So for today, I ask you to understand the Berlin Conference and its relevance to you today, its relevance in your family today, its relevance to your country and to your continent and to the world wherever black people are. So we got two issues: the legacy of slavery, the legacy of colonizations, two demons that we must fight, two afflictions that we must accept that we suffer from, and let's make every effort to defeat those demons within us in order for us to truly represent our Africa with full understanding of the issues. So
Wow. I think I'm going to play back that tape at the end of this program. Like I said, my program tonight is short. I'm going to play back that tape. You need to listen back to the words and feel the sentiments, the emotions that is coming out of that woman's stomach or her heart. She said, we must be part of that change, uncle. Part of that vibrancy, auntie. Everybody else around the world strategizing on how to take advantage on her new Africa, whose doors are swinging wide open. Is Africa's wealth the woman talking about there? What is going on here in our country? Isn't it the same thing? Our doors are so wide open that everybody coming for a piece of we. Everybody. We country open. We have a free for all country. That every time they can hurry come in here for a piece of us. The woman said, the only people who are not strategizing is us. Our own people. Yes, for our own thing. The woman said every country is strategizing. And when you ask, where is our people? They are missing in action. Yes. And who is not missing in action? Yes. It's talking a set of sewage, filth. You listen to some of them just now. I wish I could use the exact word I want to use here tonight. What they have said. But I can't. And I wouldn't. Like I said, I have to go high. Michelle Obama said, when they go low, go high. That doctor said, we are not failing ourselves. We are failing our children and grandchildren and generations to come. Yes. That's a doctor of my heart. She's diagnosing the problem of what she sees happening in Africa. The solution that she's sharing is so simple, auntie, that any idiot, any donkey would know that they have to put their heads together, speak with one voice, and strategize how to get the best out of what God has blessed us with, man. Wait, man. We got to go to school to learn that? Glenlal should never have a program like this to talk these simple ABC stuff. No. No. Not to edify or educate people who went to the universities. Things like this. No, man. No. The doctor ended by saying there, today what is happening is relevant to you, your family, your country, and your world. You guys noticed the lady talking about you and you and you? It's not somebody else she talking about, it's you she talking about, uncle and auntie. Me and you. You can't sit down on your hands or your mouth and say this is somebody else's business. It's all of our business. Unless we make it our business, auntie, we will have no business, no wealth, and nothing of anything. Please take note of these things that you're hearing from Glenlal and all these experienced people out of Africa. I told you guys I visited 4 African countries: South Africa, Zimbabwe, Kenya, and Ghana. And what I saw there, I pray for Guyana and all of you that this country never become a quarter of the level of poverty I saw there. That doctor say, 2 demons we have to fight and make every effort to defeat them: slavery and colonization. You hear that? We have to defeat them. Slavery and colonization all over again. And right now, we are living with both of them. We either defeat them or they defeat us. So you decide which one you guys want. I always remember this phrase. I don't remember who said it. But the individual said, never worry about who will be offended if you speak the truth. Worry about who will be misled, deceived, and destroyed if you don't. Let me repeat it, man, so that it sink in your minds, in your head, in your stomach, and in your memory. Never worry about who will be offended if you speak the truth. Worry about who will be misled, deceived, and destroyed if you don't. Every single word that doctor said is the truth. And if you don't take it and act on it, we all will be destroyed. You decide what will be your next move or step with the silence of these politicians. Those words, uncle and auntie, should tell you that none of the foreigners in our gold, our bauxite, our timber, and now our oil fields are our hopes and dreams. No, no. They are here to rape and sodomize every one of us with our clothes on. Uncle, every leader speaks of what is good and what is best for their country and their people. What can you say about the ones we have? The ones you're going to stain your fingers for very soon. I'm just asking. I'm just asking. What can you say? What can you say about them? Everybody wants the best. What is yours? What do yours want for me and you? And you know what? With that, I say good night. God bless. Namaste. I think I told you it's a short program. You know, I can play lots of videos from these politicians exposing who they really are. Joshua, you want me to play some more? You got one there with Norton. Play Norton with shaking hands.
I want people to know I shake hands, but I do not shake hands with my oppressors. I can shake hands. If you treat me, if you treat my people, if you treat all Guyanese as equal, you will get a handshake. But for now, you could put the handshake, according to what Borna used to say, where paddy puddy nuts. My friends, it is easy for some to talk about protocol and decorum, but if they go into our villages, they will understand what this regime is doing to the people of Guyana.
President Ali hands he talking about there. He not shaking hands with oppressors like President Ali. But he would shake hands, hug, wine and dine with the embassy people and the oil companies. You tell me, who are the oppressors of this country? President Ali? Or the foreigners who fetching out everything out of this land? Huh? You see why our brothers and sisters' children have to go to school without lunch? Huh? That's the reason why. They're fighting among each other. I am not going to shake hands. Two leaders who leading this nation, who are responsible for this nation, the nation's wealth, the nation's patrimony, our livelihood, our children's future. You hear them? Now listen to what the vice president had to say about the same opposition leader. Play it.
Petty-minded again. He walked in Linden and nobody, even the dogs, move away from him when he was walking down some of the streets. So he then said...
That's the Vice President Jagdeo. Jagdeo is saying that Norton is petty-minded, complaining how he went to Linden and even dogs ran away from him. You people decide who is petty-minded or who is small-minded. I'm not going to answer that question. This is what your vice president find time to sit down with a man like Critic to talk about. You see why our children has to go to school without breakfast and lunch? It is because of those chaps, those leaders y'all have there. Like I said, I'm not upset with you, life. I am astonished. Yes. I'm going to leave you guys tonight. I'm going to leave you guys tonight. I'm going to take 2-3 phone calls and then leave you. Joshua, I'm going to leave you with that.
Yes.
We have more tapes, but I don't want to play anymore. I'm tired of this.
9 minutes after 8 o'clock, 226-7453, 226-7454. We're going to take a few telephone calls this evening, and then we'll call it a night as it's Friday. We have a call on the line already. Caller, good evening. Welcome. You're first caller for this evening.
Hi. Good
Hello.
night, Mr. Glenn. Good night, Mr. Glenn.
Hello. Good evening.
Raise your volume.
Hi. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, sir.
You see them replay? It's just for open people's eyes about Norton and Ramjatan with Ram. That both of these government, when I call in on garden program this week about Wednesday, and I'm telling them that we bring up a topic, right, of something. So I tell you, I say we don't need back PNC to rule this country anymore. Look how much years did these people they doing one thing over and over. Look the money with the charge you collect when they cut off the state water. You got to pay for connect it back 7,000 and something. 7,500. Yeah, Mr. Glenn, we need. I just playing on this program. Every day is big man selling the business, the people on shopping. Yeah, everybody sit down in front of big market. Nobody don't buy nothing. If you do get 3 the day, you get enough. The business wise thing dropping. People are buying items on the road. People ain't got money. Yeah, and I need this nation to wake up and let me hear these streets. Yeah.
This whole country,
yeah,
every
we got
guy
to go in
should
the
have been
streets.
into the
We
streets.
don't need these two baby. I don't know what they're fighting about. Nothing is serious with that. You know, these was dividing this country. This one say, the one saying, be fed up with this thing. We need a new leader. Every time I call in on garden program for a man, he's cut me off up to this morning. Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
He always just cut me off. And you continue doing the good work. We heading straight to Africa slowly, as I keep saying all the time. Mm-hmm. Because people are getting money out there, and people, they don't easy. One of these people in this country, they're in a coma. I ready to go there all the time and bring like a next and more martyrs in it for let these people fix things or get them to death. Mm-hmm. Or we need a new leader.
I don't know what else we can do, what else we can say to wake up this country, my friend. I really don't know.
I want to know what these people, what they know sharing, what with the pay. We ain't got Christmas in this place. When the cost of living higher than your pay, it's only politicians get Christmas in this place. We ain't got no Christmas here.
I was just...
and I be looking for another for before we go out in the streets.
I was just...
Mind don't make up for be one of the next more martyrs them again. And it got enough people out there mind making up. See when this one Ali up on the stage when them event winding up and play like he there with them, he is mocking them because he making billions. And he mocking them like if he there with them and he's like them. But he's not like them, he's mocking the people. And these people who keep in these events, Akilo and all them talking about boat cruise, is a set of black people and you've had this fine in between them.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, my friend.
He mock these people and these people, watch the president and asking in the big, but mock the man mocking them.
You know what?
He making billions and them and getting nothing.
You know what's going on in Sri Lanka at present? In Sri Lanka, they're taking off. If you have a nice shirt or a shoe, they're taking it off. You can't walk with no jewelry in Sri Lanka right now. And it's because of the silence of the people. They allow the leaders to bankrupt the whole nation. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, they bully.
Thank you. Yes, sir. You're live on the radio, sir.
Hey, Glenn, how are you doing?
Good, Vincent. How are you doing?
Well, I can tell you doing all right.
Vincent?
Yeah, man.
I was just telling the nation about the earning calls, Hess Cooperation and ExxonMobil had today, and how they're boasting to the world and to their shareholders how much money they're making.
Yep.
You want to contribute something to that?
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you.
When I read it, well, of course, it wasn't surprising, but it just totally obscene. And here is what, and it's not only obscene, it's cruel. These companies, especially in these times, these people, first of all, they're making this money off of the war in Ukraine. They're causing the same inflation. They're contributing heavily to the inflation all over the world, including Guyana, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
They come in together, and Guyana has been a major part of the amount of money that they are making. Could you imagine? We were celebrating our $1 billion that we were able to obtain within
3 years.
3 years now.
3 years.
3 years. Exxon, for the past quarter alone, 3 months, we're boasting and celebrating, which, that's okay. It's a lot of money to us.
Mm-hmm.
So we're celebrating $1 billion in 3 years. They made $20 billion in 3 months.
Exxon made 20 billion in 3 months.
3 months.
Yeah, that's what they declare.
Absolutely. So, and here they come into our country. Here is what's so egregious about this, though, and they come into our country, take our oil, enrich themselves and their shareholders. You and I, we're not, we're not complaining about that, but give us an equal share. We welcome investors as long as they're fair and we get a fair share of our wealth. This all belongs to us. They come in. The first thing they do, and these are the kind of things that are falling beneath the radar, Glenn.
Mm-hmm.
This is worse than colonization. They come in. They're treating our workers as slaves and second-class citizens. Our workers that are on the FPSOs, I mean, it's been on, even the government themselves, GAU were complaining. They're getting less than minimum wage. They can't even eat with the other workers that are coming from other countries. They've got to wait and take left.
Well,
that's how they're being fed.
Yes, the salary is not the same doing the same work.
Absolutely.
I know that.
And then they can't eat the same kind of food. They got to wait for left. Even GAU has been complaining. They're not, and we are not doing anything. But here's the other thing, Glenn. To be honest, when you really get down to it, we should not be mad at Exxon.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Has control over what Exxon does.
Mm-hmm.
The government has control over what Exxon does. But, even the president himself and the vice president, the attorney general, before they got into office, there was a lot of big talk about them stealing our what did they say? They're stealing our wealth. Mm-hmm. And we're going to renegotiate. But when they get into office, they suddenly become spineless. And they're allowing Exxon is basically, might as well tell Exxon to run the country.
Well, Exxon is running the country.
Because Exxon can decide when they want their permit, whether we should do it, because we're not doing reviews of permits anymore.
Hess Cooperation said since in June that in December they will be getting the 5th project approved. And you will see it will be approved December.
Absolutely.
And the man said by 2026 they will have the 6th project approved by the government. So our government is not running this soil field. Our government doesn't have any say. And I want to correct you on something you said there, that the government is in control. My friend, it's not the government alone. The opposition has equal rights and say in what is happening in this country. Because if they don't 1 second. If they don't want Barajak Dev and Irfan Ali to approve the 5th project, they know how that can be done. Right? So whenever we speak, let us don't blame one. It's all of them. You know, you are part of the AFC. And today they had a press conference. AFC had a press conference. And if my reporter didn't talk about oil, not a single line you hear from these members. You know? So when you blame government, I take offense to that. Hold a second. Let me answer that. The people elect AFC, PNC, and PPP to represent them. Okay? The people also have a say, and a huge say. But if they don't know what is going on, because of the secrecy in the 3 political parties as to what they're doing on a daily basis, come on, let's don't blame them.
People have got to be led into putting pressure on the government, because more than anybody else, it's the people that any government. Look what's happening in those countries. Look what happened in Sri Lanka.
Yes.
It's the people all over the world. If the people do not get out there and protest and do those type of things, nothing will happen.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing will happen.
I talked on a program, I think last week, how Ghana, the new government, has now realized that what the foreigners doing in Ghana, and they are trying to run them out. And it's too late, because the foreigners become citizens in Ghana. So you can't run them out. When the army and the police go into them, run them in the day, in the mining fields, they just go to bed and sleep. And as soon as they're back turned from the mining camp, they're working in the night.
Yep. So here's a good example that you talk about all the time, I talk about it, everybody talk about it. First of all, again, just to repeat, because this is important, the president, the vice president, the attorney general, and others talked about renegotiating as soon as they get in. They have not even, the contract allows them to call for a renegotiation. The contract says, of course, as you know, and we've been telling people, it says that both parties got to agree. But we have not even had I must use a word that I don't want to use. We do not even have the courage to ask for a negotiation. We talk about sanctity of contract. Let's follow the sanctity of the contract and follow that clause in the contract by going to Exxon and say, I would like to renegotiate. I dare Exxon to tell me, who owns that oil, to tell me that they're not going to renegotiate. But we do not even have the gumption to go to them.
Gumption is not a word. They don't have the testicular apparatus.
Well, that's a better biological word
yes.
than I was going to use.
The testicular fortitude. Yes.
But
that's what they don't have.
You know, and we talk about sanctity. Well, let's follow the sanctity of the contract says that we could initiate the discussion. I asked them, say, well, okay, we would like to renegotiate. And we talk about sanctity, but we don't talk about sanctity when it comes to that. We frightened. We frighten Exxon.
My friend.
When you hear the president,
my friend.
When you hear the president saying, Glenn, when the president, you can tell how spineless and how scared they are of Exxon. When the president get up in public and say, well, you know, we got to be careful because Exxon is a superpower. I mean, that is BS. And you think Exxon, let me tell you, I worked at the highest level of the U.S. government. Exxons and the rest of them, they used to be, you see, when we call and tell them, you know, you come to our office or do, they used to ask how high we need to jump.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the reversing that's the thing that frustrated me. When I was in Guy, did you see I used to behave like that with EPA how do you think they sign off for that full coverage insurance? I mean full coverage parent company that they have not delivered after I left. And they scrap all of that.
Vincent.
Because I demanded it.
Vincent.
And I told him you're not gonna produce a barrel of oil unless you sign that.
Vincent.
Those are my words to them.
Vincent.
So quick to come in and sign it.
David Granger released the contract. He released the contract. How that was released? ExxonMobil had to say yes. David Granger adjusts the royalty, the teeth and back of the royalty. What happened to these guys? What are they adjusting? What have they asked for, like you're saying? That's the point. Nothing.
And they had a lot of big talk. They had big talk before they get in.
Yeah. Absolutely nothing.
Nah, but it's a shame.
Yeah.
But you're right. They've already decided when they're gonna get the permit and everything else, and we just gotta fall in line. That's what's going on. Mm-hmm. They say we're gonna get this permit within whatever it is, 4 months. Then I want to say we're gonna get. And what is happening now is that we are falling in line. Whatever they say, that's what they get. Look. Another thing. Look. Exxon is being treated extra special. At the EPA, after stuff started leaking out when they were lying about things that existed, when it started leaking out on the front page, documents started leaking out, guess what they did? They now took all of Exxon's files and put it in the executive director's office under lock and key. Exxon files, that's what they're doing. They took it out to the registrar, the registry which I set up that we didn't have before, where we had 4 employees in there. We had a very rigorous system where everything that checked out from even the employees, they had to bring it back within a certain time. It was logged in electronically, and hard copies on the shelves. And because things started leaking and revealing the lies that they were pending out there, they took only Exxon's file. They took all of Exxon's files
and hide it away.
And put it in the chief office.
Yes.
Under lock and key. I mean, so that is all. And it would surprise me that Exxon told them to do that.
Yes, we reported on that when that happened.
Exactly.
I think a month ago. Yep. Yeah. This is what they're doing. Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Have a good night. Guys, this is 2 mango trees your family get robbed on. When every 100 mangoes pick, 75 are being taken out for the investment and expenses that you had no say in or you didn't authorize. You had no say in and you didn't authorize. The 25 mangoes that remain is then split into 2. You get 12.5 mangoes and the other guy gets 12.5 mango. Out of his 12.5 mango, he take out 2 of his mangoes and give it to your family as royalty. And that cycle continues until the mango trees dry up or gone empty. However, when all is done and the picker didn't get back his full investment, yes, this is the trouble. Your family is left with that debt to be paid. This, in a nutshell, guys, is what is going on between Guyana and ExxonMobil with our oil. Now you tell me, if you would approve any other mango tree with this type of arrangement, you tell me that. Well, that is what Jagdeo and President Ali doing to Guyana presently, approving more and more oil projects with that same arrangement. You know, many African nations are presently working to pay oil companies' debts because of deals like that. Where do you think Guyana will end up? That is the future you're securing for your children and grandchildren, guys. Continue walking on your heads with your feet and hands and mouths closed. Guyana and ExxonMobil running a 50-50 business, and Guyana have no say in the investments and the expenses? Really? Really? And speeding up the process for more oil projects? Really? Jagdeo, is this for real? President Ali, really? Okay. I went to 4 African countries, and the horror of poverty, starvation and sickness I saw there for myself. I hope and pray to God that you people never ever let that happen here. As I speak right now, thousands of our Guyanese don't know where their next meal is coming from. And that has been confirmed in today's Kaieteur News, where almost half of the children that go to school do not carry lunch because their parents do not have